Testing. Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you for coming to my channel. I guess I'm going to do a series of these because I think they're pretty interesting. It's called, observations. And I'm going to share some things with you that I observed within the last couple of days. Now, I'm going to say this before I get this started. Years ago, I had a position, and one of the requirements is you have a psychological evaluation every year, because you couldn't do this particular job if you kind of off-centered or you got some bizarre radical views, so every year you would be tested. And the lady that tested me the last time, we actually became really good friends. Her husband and herself used to invite my family to these gatherings. And she gave me the best compliment I've ever had in my life, because she's a trained professional psychologist. And she said, out of all the people that I've ever worked with in my professional life and personal life, she said, you make more sense than anybody I've ever met. That was a hell of a compliment, because I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm not somewhere with some bizarre views and everybody thinking this way and feeling this way, and I'm way over here thinking something extremely different. So that was really reassuring that for the most part, I make sense, and the things that I observe and the way that I observe them are pretty accurate. Now, I'm not saying that I'm always right, because I'm not, and that's not what I'm trying to convey here today. Most men always right. No, it's just observations and how most of us do this and some of us do that. And I'm going to start with yesterday, because I had an incident today that kind of almost ruined my day. Yesterday, I said, let me try to have some ribs, because I rarely eat barbecue. I do watch my diet, but every blue moon, it's like I want to just have something different, And what's interesting is, and I just thought about this the other day, I've been in the same waistline for like 15, 17 years, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing it right, and I'm not overindulging in food that I shouldn't be eating. My waistline is getting bigger as I get older. And as you get older, for most of us, not all of us, your appetite diminishes. You don't eat as much, because when I worked in corporate America, I had breakfast, a snack before lunch, then a snack before dinner. Now I like maybe eat a meal and a half a day. And what I physically eat during that time, I don't even eat half of it. I just don't have that appetite no more, which is a good thing, of course. So I'm like, okay, every now and then I can have, a little something that's not normally on the diet plate or menu. So I pull up, because I don't know what time they open, so I pull up to the place. This has been about 10:30. Now, you would think this. You're a business owner. Isn't it really important that your customers or potential customers know what time you open up? There's no schedule on the window. There's nothing. It's like, well, so when do they open up? So I called them at 10:30, because I know they open kind of early, I'm guessing. And the guy was nice enough to pick up the phone and said, we open at 11 o'clock. Now I'm saying to myself, shouldn't you get tired of having to do this? People calling before 11 because they don't know what time you open. And the reason why they don't know what time you open, because you got no schedule on the fucking window. There's nothing to indicate what time you open and what time you close. I don't know why they can't figure that one out. I mean, really, I'm like, come on, man, It's just like with the menu thing. And I can understand that, because they got budget issues, like we can't afford to print out menus, You go into a place and one guy said, can I have a menu? Because I'm trying to be a return customer. I'm sorry, we don't have any menus, y'all. You can take your phone out and take a picture of the menu. How ghetto was that? And I was going to, and this would be right before the pandemic kicked off, I said, I'm going to, print you up some labels, man. I mean, really, I'm going to print you up. My phone ringing. I got a good color printer, 3D, and so I'll print you up and I'll bring them to you for free, okay? I want to help you grow and prosper in this area, Just little things, though. It's like, nobody figured this out, So he told me 11 o'clock. I ran a few errands. I came back at 11. I was the first one. I ordered large rib tips. And when I got them rib tips home, and I had my glasses on. I opened up the thing, shit burnt. I could see that it's burnt. I'm like, even before I put my mouth on it, which I did, and I ate a little bit of one slab and threw that shit in the garbage. Like $20 wasted. And I'm like, this is your specialty. This is what you do for a living, and you fucking it up, burning this shit? You know, I'm the first customer of the day, and you've already prepared burnt ass meat. Burnt? I mean burnt. You know, it was so burnt that the surface was seared, I guess the word, across. It was smooth and kind of flat and tastes burnt. I had to pull that piece off, the scab, as I call it, and get to what little meat that wasn't burnt. And, you know, I'm like, they just got my $20 because I'm not going back up there complaining. You know, I lost $20. It's not a big deal to me. But I'm like, you don't let your customers know what time you open and close. Then you're burning the shit. I mean, it was burnt. It wasn't kind of well done. This shit was burnt. I was like, man, you know, I don't want to come off as an older guy that's complaining because I'm not complaining. My thing is, I'm just telling you guys what unfolded and it shouldn't have. You know, I'm not one of them people that's, you know, I'm standing over you and everything got to be perfect and I'm going to find something to complain about because there's some people that are like that. They've got to find something to complain about because it's interesting. I had did this short film and it was one of my best ones to me, and a lot of people felt the same way. It had a good storyline. Me and Joe did a good job acting it out. And the only flaw in this, and mind you, I'm a guitar player. I'm not a filmmaking dude. I didn't go to film school. That's just my hobby, and I like doing it. So this one guy watched it, and he had to find something. Well, I noticed during the transitions, the video effects, the transition was a little too long. And he was right, but I'm like, come on, man. You know, 99% of the stuff was good, and there was no mention of that. But the 1% that you seen that wasn't right, and again, mind you, I'm no film guy. I'm just a guy with a camera, and I like to do short films, you know. Wasn't trained, didn't go to school for it again. And you're going to mention this. You know, there are people like that. It's like we're going to find that one thing, you know, and we're going to pounce on it. You know, so it's like, you know, that's not me when it comes to my evaluation or my observations. I'm not trying to find something that's wrong, but I'm like, this is wrong. My shit was burned. You know, this ain't small and minor. You know, small and minor is you didn't give me no napkins, you know, or plate or a knife and fork or fork and spoon. You know, that's, you know, complaining something minute. But my shit was burnt to the point where I couldn't enjoy. I couldn't eat. I had to throw it in the garbage. Because sometimes, you know, when I got food scraps, I give it to the cats. I'm like, this is not even fit for them. So let me just throw this straight in the garbage, you know. So, you know, and here's the second observation, then I'm going to sign off. It's not that often that my wife drives with me to errands. You know, I usually just take her to the train station back or whatever, you know, with the exception of when we go to the grocery store, which is not too far down the street. But today I went to the pawn shop. I said, you know, maybe you'd like to come along. She's like, sure. So first I had to go to the post office. Then on our way to the pawn shop, whole lot of stuff, you know, guys running stop signs. They get in front of back of me and they zooming in front of me. And I'm a sharp driver. I'm not one of them old, slow driving dudes. I'm not. You know, I'm complying with the rules of the road. You know, this is the fastest that we can go, you know. So this guy just zoomed around me, you know. And I said, you see that? She said, yeah. And then another guy ran the stop sign. Then another guy. It was just a lot of stuff that you, visually and traffic-wise that you can see. And I'm like, I'm glad, and I'm about to share the last story regarding that. I'm glad you're here with me right now so you can see this. Because you know me, I don't lie and I don't exaggerate. You seeing this in real time. She's like, yeah, you know, they way out of control. So on the way to the pawn shop, because I got to think about people driving too close to me for a couple of reasons. For one, I don't want you hit my car in case something run out in front of the street and I got to hit my brakes. And it tells you the rules of the road. You got to be a certain distance away for those reasons. You know, that if you're riding too close and something just happens that's unexpected, so a kid run across the street and you got to hit your brakes, the guy behind you don't have enough time now to brake to keep from hitting you. That's one of the reasons why they tell you in the rules of the road, keep a certain distance. You know, and one of them is how you can tell people are too close to you when they riding you and right in front of you and back of you when you can't see their headlights, and you run across that a lot too. They too close because you can't see the headlights in the rearview mirror. So, I'm going to the pawn shop and this guy, he's kind of close behind me. I'm like, come on, man. So I probably try to get a little more distance by a little more speed, and he going right behind me, increasing his speed. So then we getting into the parking lot. And there are just some things it's instinctive and you just kind of know. Nobody got to tell you or point out to you. You get into the parking lot and now you're trying to park. So now you got to slow down and the guys behind you would say, okay, he's trying to park. So let me just stop waiting. This guy. And I wish I could give you a visual. I'm going to try my best to try to describe it, but you would have to been there like my wife was there. So I'm trying to park. This guy right behind me. Then I look, he done came around me as I'm trying to park. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, give me a moment so I can park. And in the wake of doing that, because now I'm kind of rushed. So now when I do park, I'm too close to the car parked next to me. As far as the driver's side for him. I'm like, I got to give him some space so when he comes out, he got space to get in his car and not have to just crack his car door and just barely squeeze in. So now I got to re-park because I'm being rushed. And this guy right behind. Like I say, now he's trying to turn this way. So I put it in drive and I drove off. I'm like, I got to keep my distance from this fool. And I look up, I park good distance from him. I look up, he's back over here. I'm like, how did you end up first here, and now you way back here? What kind of shit is that? So then he pulls up, like I said, now he's here. So then I'm sitting in the car, I'm like, I'm going to wait till he get out of his car and leave, because I don't even get close to this dude. So I'm waiting, and now he going in his trunk. I'm like, I ain't got time for this shit, man. So I get out, me and my wife, and I can tell he's looking at me, out of my side vision. I'm like, I'm not going to give him eye contact. I'm not even going to acknowledge him. I want to punch his ass in the face. So he has the nerve to say this. You were kind of close there when you was pulling out. What the fuck? And my response was, I'm trying to get away from your ass because you're in my way. I'm like, come on, man. So this man believes that I was in the wrong when I'm just trying to keep distance from this guy because he's too close to me. But he interpreted as I'm too close to him when I pulled out to get away from him. And I told my wife, I said, see, this is why I'm tired of people. My favorite creatures is cats now. I try my best to have as little contact with people as possible. And it's like, this is annoying, and I don't want to interact with idiots, so that almost spoiled my day, because I'm like, because we was about to go get something to eat. I'm like, I'm not even hungry now because I'm too pissed to be eating, I'm too pissed to be hungry, but now I feel a little better, and as time progressed, you kind of calm down because it was just funny that this guy think that I was in the wrong. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to get the fuck away from you because you're in my way. So he's walking away thinking that I'm in the wrong. I'm like, really? Oh my goodness. Because like I said, I wasn't going to say nothing to him because he was looking to try to get my attention for him to make that comment. I'm just walking like, dude, I don't want to look your way or even talk to you. But, that's my 2 days observation. Burnt ass barbecue that I spent $28 for, threw it in the garbage. Then I got some idiot trailing me in my way, my space. And he thinks that I was in his space. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. Like I said, it's nice to talk about things. It really is. I learn when I listen to other people. I don't learn when I'm talking, and I love to hear people's stories, life stories and their encounters. I do. I've always enjoyed listening to that because I can learn. Because I'm like, there are things I don't know nothing about. And if you can share a story with me about these things and how to deal with these things, I truly appreciate it. I do. Because that's how you learn, interacting with people and observing people, but there's some people that don't have a clue. I mean, they really don't. And I'm going to say this because this, again, it's in the observation realm. My neighbor next door, I told you about, who just got all these dudes hanging around. I had to have a conversation with him, and he's toned it down considerably, and I appreciate it. I looked out the door, out of my window, early this morning, and I seen this guy who I've seen before because he was in front of my house arguing with this other dude. And I'm not going to say that. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to try to word it a different way. So he's standing out in front of my house, screaming at the top of his lungs with this other dude. He don't have a shirt on. These little tiny ass pants. I don't know where he lives. I'm like, dude, why did you even leave your house looking like this? Okay, it's fine. You're on your porch. You took your shirt off, and relaxing. But now you're not at your home, and you looking like some cotton picker from slavery days. Because that was, well, I'm not going to get into that history of why these young black men walk around with their shirt off. They don't realize the history behind that, okay? But I'm just going to say this for the sake of the people that are watching this young say, most men tell us because I don't know. I walk around with my shirt off. That was started in slavery. And it was a negative actions that the masters did to the slaves. Take your shirt off. You don't deserve to have a shirt on. You're an animal and you're supposed to stay out here. And then we don't want you escaping, so we make you take your shirt off. Young guys don't know the history behind that. And I'm saying I wish that they did, because if they did, most of them wouldn't do it. So he's standing out away from his house. I don't know where he lives. I've never seen this guy. Shirt off, little shorts, and arguing with the dude on the phone. And I'm not going to go into the conversation he had because that becomes a little more controversial. And it's like I'm going to respect that and I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to talk about that. So I look up, he's coming out of my neighbor's house. Now imagine my neighbor's married, has a daughter, stepdaughter. Why is this dude coming out of your house with no shirt on, half dressed? Why? Because I told you, and this is my opinion, he's a predator. He's a sexual predator. And he's grooming these young, naive guys for sexual acts. Because initially when I seen all these guys standing around the house when I first moved here, I'm like, okay, it's drugs. They selling drugs. But that wasn't it. So I'm like, why are these guys hanging around and standing on another man's property with their shirt off, which he encouraged them to do? So again, this guy comes out of his house this morning with no shirt on. I'm like, why would you go to another man's house again with no shirt on? And disrespecting his house, and he's allowing that because you don't let nobody in your house, with your wife and your daughter with no shirt on, And it's just a lot of stuff that ain't right. It's just not right. It's like, come on, man. Well, where did this guy live, and why did he leave his house shirtless and half dressed, little tiny shorts on? I'm like, I got to get out of here, We're going to get out of here. I'm trying to find something that's really kind of isolated, not way out and really desolate, but just somewhere where I got space that I don't have to interact with anything other than animals, cats, stray cats or whatever. But I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for listening. I know I kind of got long-winded on this one, but I just wanted to give you my couple of days observation. That's all it is, It's not this is right, this is wrong. You be the judge, as far as how people behave, and how people behave. Till next time, take care and thanks for watching.